Number 8, local law L, local law Albany County imposing the occupancy tax on the hotel tax. Any questions on that?
Yes,
Mr. Graham?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, I want to point out that this calls for a change in how this is distributed. The current arrangement has 1 cent of the 6 going to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, another cent going to the Convention Center Authority,
does
4
not
cents going to
change
Civic Center debt.
The law as it's always been written. There will be a change at some point based on the way the law has always been written. It's not a change to the law, it's a change. You're correct, but it's the law that we're renewing the exact law that's been in place for years.
But it's changing, according to this reading, when the Convention Center is completed.
That's
The
correct. but that's al-
distribution of the hotel tax will change
And that's always the way.
significantly.
That's correct, but that's always the way the thing has been written, and that's always been the intent. In fact, Albany County has benefited since 2008 because they didn't build the convention center down on Broadway and Hudson Avenue.
The Convention Center will get 3 of the 6 cents
That's
under the new
correct.
arrangement.
That's-
Okay, we're not talking chump change. It was $8.44 million last year, the hotel
That
tax.
is the way the legislation was originally written by the state and has continued to be written that way. There is no change in the legislation. There is a change in the formula, but it's always been in the legislation.
What we're suggesting is we give half our hotel tax money to a state authority, which we do not control, as opposed, and reduce the amount of money to the Civic Center debt, a county building, which we do control.
We have no authority to enact the tax without the state approval. They have, in the past, given us that authority, and that is why this law is still sitting there, because they gave us the authority. We have no authority to impose any of this tax without the approval of the state legislature. They wrote the legislation, we're following the legislation.
Well, then let's propose different legislation.
To who, the state?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
So the state's going to cut back their own revenues coming in.
Well,
You think
why
that'll go
should,
anywhere up there?
why should we accept a
that'll go
deal that
anywhere
gives
up there?
more money to the state?
You're missing the point. The original deal was the state wanted the money, so they gave us part of it. And that's the deal that continues. It is not necessarily an Albany County tax. It is a tax that the state created for the convention center. Albany County got a piece of that, but it was always understood, and it was always stated in the legislation, that when the thing was completed, the convention center, that it would be changed. That's been in the legislation for years. You can go check it.
Mr. Chairman, if memory serves me correctly, don't we have this before us every year?
That's correct.
So next year, when the change in the formula that Mr. Gray is referring to that will be part of whatever local law we have to approve, correct?
It's 2 years.
2 years.
It's 2 years. It's a 2-year cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So we will have to approve that at that time, is
Yeah,
that correct?
yeah, we can review it again in 2 years. I agree with Mr. Graham.
Well, I do too.
As far as county tax, hotel tax money going to the state for a state facility. But we benefit tremendously from our other monies that we couldn't have before without this formula going forward to help them generate the money to where they're at right now. I perfectly believe that Rensselaer County should be part of this with this state facility, because it's much easier to get on I-90 and get on those hotels up on 440 than it is Wolf Road. It's a lot closer. And they're not contributing anything. So, I mean, I think that we should reach out to our state elected officials to include Rensselaer County as far as the hotel tax for subsidizing this state facility here in Albany. Because they benefit probably just as much as the Albany hoteliers than the ones up on Wolf Road, because they're much closer. So we'll review that in 2 years, as it's still being constructed, so nothing's going to change anyway within the law. But I think most of us are on the same page with that.
Yeah, I've had my say, thank you.
Motion to move it? Ray, second by Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you.